For every wound, there is a scar. For every scar, there is a story. A story that says, I survived. A quote by Craig Scott. That's how many people feel after having a serious or life-threatening surgery like I did. When I was 2, my pediatrician told my mother that I had a heart murmur, one that she could easily hear. Usually with a heart murmur, it's just an irregular heartbeat. But when it's loud, it can mean that you have a hole in your heart. Sometimes, these holes can naturally close, but with mine, they believed it wouldn't because I was already 2 years old. So they sent me to New Orleans to meet with a specialist, and he said that I was going to have open heart surgery. Back then, open heart surgery was very barbaric. They would have to break open your ribs and stop your heart just to do the surgery. But I was very lucky because they usually have to use tissue from the sac around the heart to close the hole, but I already had a flap of tissue already there that should have closed before I was born. These holes in the heart are called congenital heart defects, and they affect a newborn baby every 15 minutes. Today we're going to talk about the 2 most common congenital heart defects. The first one is ventral septal defect, or VSD. This is where there is a hole in the wall between the right ventricle and the left ventricle. This causes oxygen-rich blood to mix with non-oxygen-rich blood. According to the American Heart Association, VSD can cause breathing problems in adults. It can also cause pulmonary hypertension, which is high blood pressure in the arteries that lead to the lungs. The second congenital heart defect is atrial septal defect, or ASD. This is where there's a hole in the wall between the right atrium and the left atrium. This also causes oxygen-rich blood to mix with non-oxygen-rich blood. According to the American Heart Association, this hole is naturally there in the womb because your mother already gives you oxygen-rich blood. ASD, if untreated, can have really bad effects on the heart and the lungs because the left side of the heart sends blood to the rest of the body and the right side of the heart sends blood to the lungs. But when you have ASD and you have that hole, it causes extra blood to be sent to the lungs, which makes the lungs work harder and can cause damage to the arteries in the lungs. If you catch these early enough and get them treated, you can live a normal and healthy life. But if they are undetected or untreated, it can cause premature death. So by this you can tell that if you leave a heart defect untreated, it can cause permanent damage. Now I feel like I have informed you of the 2 major heart defects that affect a newborn baby every 15 minutes.